Strom and Adam Simber combined with the Padres pen for an impressive victory in Game 2 of the series. Able to beat the Cardinals last night 4-2 to take their first game of this 3-game series. Outstanding work from the pen again. Tonight is Game 3 of a 3-game series between the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals from Busch Stadium. Now getting ready for the game tonight, Manuel Margot, who's really turned the corner on his season. June 1st, he has hit .333 cents with a .419 on base percentage. Back in the lineup for San Diego and back in center field. On the other side for the Cardinals, Harrison Bader, a speedster in 4 games against the Padres this year, hitting at .308 with 2 homers and 3 runs batted in. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Mark Grant. Welcome to Padres baseball. Well, last night was pretty special for the Padres. They have a chance today, in fact, to win their 5th consecutive series, which would be the first time since 2010 if they can get it done. But last night, another great bullpen night.
Another W for Johnny Holstaff. All started with Matt Strom. And quite frankly, Don and I, we've talked about it. Matt Strom probably in the rotation as it goes on. He gets stretched out a little bit more, but he was lights out. He was going through this lineup for the Cardinals. Breaking balls, fastballs, swings and misses, perfect. In the last 6 games, they've been doing really well. The one thing that really sticks out, not strikes but quality strikes, only 4 walks, and the opponent's only hitting 136. Why? Because they're mixing it up. And Holstaff, the Cardinal hitters don't get a chance to really see one pitcher 2 or 3 times through the lineup. So that's why it's so effective.
Well, tonight, Eric Lauer looking to bounce back at a tough outing against the Cardinals last time.
Yeah, he needs to bounce back. I mean, this is the big leagues, and this is what you need to do. Forget about the last one and make an adjustment. I'm sure in his last bullpen session, went over with Darren Balsley, working on location of the fastball because he's not overpowering. He's got to work up and down. He's got to avoid the walks. He had 7 walks last time because, let's face it, he only throws 90, 91. If he misses over the heart of the plate, it's going to be shellacking time with these Cardinal hitters.
Eric Hosmer, no doubt, has been the Padres All-Star this year. He really could use your vote as well, but he's had an all-star type year.
He's fun to watch, and the infielders love him. The pitchers love him because he shortens innings with that scoop of his over first base, showing the Gold Glove. So how do you vote? At Padres.com/VOTE. Vote for the Gold Glover. We're fortunate. We get to see him each and every day, and pitching staffs and infielders love to see him every day patrolling first base for the San Diego Padres. Plus, he's got some pop in that. Yeah, peace and love to everybody. How about some peace and love for Eric Hosmer at first base?
Eric Hosmer back in the lineup for the Padres tonight. They have a chance to win the series, their 5th in a row. When we come back, who is today's Prince of the Pick the Stick contest? We'll find out next on the other side with Mike and Mark. Join us as they come to us from San Diego after this. $9.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box. By Petco, the pet company. By Sycuan Casino, opening in 2019 is Sycuan's brand new 300-room resort and hotel. And by Nissan, it's time to upgrade. Save big at the Nissan Tech for All sales event. Shop ChooseNissan.com. The Padres and the Cardinals, game 3 of the series. Before we get it started, let's send it down to field level and Annie Halbrun.
Thanks so much, Don. And you were just looking at the unique sidearm delivery from reliever Adam Cimber. He's been so effective for the Padres all season. It's hard to believe he almost didn't make it to the major leagues. Cimber has labored in the minors since 2013. He wasn't expected to break camp with the Padres out of spring training, but he pitched his way onto the roster, and he's held that spot since making his debut on opening day. Here's more from Cimber and catcher A.J. Ellis on his journey.
You think you're good, and then somebody tells you you're not, and you kind of take a step back, and you're like, "Whoa, I gotta get better." And that's kind of what I did last year. They told me I was going back to extended spring, and I kind of took that as a challenge and as a little bit of a break from games to really analyze myself and work a strategy. So I used it well the 2 weeks I was down there, and it's working out.
Don't really see it too often in the league. There's not too many guys who throw with the same angle he does, and the ball have the same characteristics that his ball does when he throws it. And watching video doesn't do it justice. So until you get in the box and see it, and then most importantly, his ability to execute from that angle. And he's worked very diligently and made some major career changes to get to this point. And it's a testament to him and his work ethic and his discipline to have the success he's had.
And Cimber pitched 3 scoreless last night to keep the Padres on top for that win. Well, coming up, will the Padres take the 5th, no, not the 5th Amendment, the 5th consecutive series? They've got a chance tonight with a victory. Padres, Cardinals, first pitch coming up next on Fox Sports San Diego.
The energy, the enthusiasm. The Padres are stacking up wins and the positive vibe is spreading throughout the clubhouse. Each victory seems to have a new hero, with contributions coming from at the plate and on the mound. Tonight, Eric Lauer and the Padres take aim for their 5th consecutive win, something they haven't done since 2010. The Cardinals and the Padres, the fun continues right now. Welcome to St. Louis. It is on the steamy side again tonight, 86 degrees as we get it started. And it is time for the weather report brought to you by your always sunny Honda dealers of San Diego County. You go along with that temperature, north breeze at 13 miles per hour. Partly cloudy the forecast for the remainder of the night. Not a lot of clouds, though, up above the stadium as we get it started. Don Orsillo, Mark Grant, Annie Halbrun with you for the finale of this three-game series, the second leg of this three-city tour for the Padres, as we come to you on a warm night here tonight from St. Louis, as they all have been. Tonight we're participating in the Home Run Challenge again. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. Since June 1st, over $1.35 million have been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. Well, Andy Green's 9 tonight as Padres trying to win their 5th consecutive series. And a chance to do that as we take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Toyota. Travis Jankowski leads it off in left. Corey Spangenberg at second base with Eric Hosmer at first base. Christian Villanueva at third with Freddie Galvis at short. Franmil Reyes in right with Manuel Margot in center. Rafi Lopez does the catching and Eric Lauer the pitcher out of the 9 spot. Luke Weaver is on the hill tonight for St. Louis.
And he's making his 14th start. 24-year-old, sports a fastball, changeup, and a curveball. You know, very inconsistent with the curveball. He will go to his changeup as his secondary pitch. Has some really good numbers, opponent's batting average on that pitch, and hopefully the Padres can get to him early. 5 series in a row down. That's got a good ring to it before they embark to Atlanta on a 4-game series this weekend. So they've been playing well. Last night was a really good outcome for the Padres. Behind Weaver, looking at the Cardinals defense, brought to you by your San Diego Cadillac dealers. Munoz at shortstop. Jerko at third. Wong at second. Martinez at first base. Molina behind the plate. In the outfield, left, right, Ozuna, Pham, and Bader.
Well, Luke Weaver ready to work here to begin the ball game tonight with Travis Jankowski in on the left side. And the first pitch of this one will miss outside. Ball 1, and we're underway. Jankowski starting the night hitting at .295, coming in with a home run and 6 runs batted in. He's recently just dropped under 300 after being above 300 all year. 0 for 4 in last night's game and 1 for 8 in the series. Quite a different story for Jankowski at home than on the road, too. As far as batting goes, hitting at .354 at Petco Park this year, .239 away from Petco Park.
You know, if Travis can master that bring it with you bunt down the first base line with the defense playing back, he can get a lot of infield singles that way. Take a look at the defense for the Redbirds on the right side. Martinez and Wong, they're playing way back. Takes good bat control, a lot of practice to punch that ball in between. You want to punch it in between the first baseman and the second baseman, get it past the pitcher, and that's a guaranteed knock for Travis.
On the ground to the first baseman Jose Martinez, and he'll take it to the bag himself for out number 1. Let's take a look at the keys to the game brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Wipe out Weaver. This kid, his career against the Padres, perfect, 2-0. He has yet to give up a run in 12 innings. He's only walked 2, struck out 14, and make the Cards fold. If they win this game, 2 out of 3 from the Redbirds, that means 5 consecutive series they have won, that being the San Diego Padres. And thanks again to Don Orsillo for contributing to the keys of the game.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Greatly appreciated.
Corey Spangenberg standing in on the left side. This is game number 70. You're going to be a little bit tired of doing them every night.
Game 70 already?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you've done 70 keys to the game. Out to right center field, and this one is falling in for a base hit. Corey Spangenberg with a single in his first plate appearance tonight, with 1 down here in the first inning.
Well, you don't get strikes. And that is a perfect example of Weaver missing with location. Molina wants it down and away. That's middle, in, and up. And there goes the no-hitter.
1 out, 1 on, and it brings up Eric Hosmer. 286, 9 homers, and 31 runs batted in for Haas. has homered twice in the past 3 games and hitting at .300 in 5 games. .314 average against right-handed pitching, in which he deals with tonight, and Luke Weaver. Popped up foul off to the left out of play. Luke Weaver allowing 4 runs in 5 innings against the Cincinnati Reds in his last start. Got a no decision though, and an eventual 7-6 Cardinals win. Took 10 innings to get done, but he was not part of the decision. Has just 1 win in his last 10 starts, and it was the Padres back on May 11th in San Diego. 5 scoreless innings. Throw to first, and relatively close, but Spangenberg back to the bat.
That was close. I wonder if Corey kind of spun his wheels over there getting back to first base. You know, it's a different type of composite infield here. You know, you see that? Did you see that? It's almost like in a sandbox. That 1 foot of his, he dug in and tried to push towards first base. It
didn't go anywhere.
No.
A little on the muddy side over there. The track's wet.
Yeah.
1-1 pitch coming to Eric Hosmer. And a liner to center field. Tommy Pham back there. Pham will make the catch, middle of the cap high. 2 down. Spangenberg back to first. So 2 outs. And it'll bring up Christian Villanueva. .234 average for Villanueva. 15 homers and 36 runs batted in, getting the start at third base. It's not every day that Villanueva and Spangenberg are in the lineup at the same time. Generally, Perella will be at second base, and one of the two will get a start at third. But tonight, Spangenberg getting the start at second, and Villanueva at third.
Check what kind of strike zone we've got tonight. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Weaver getting squeezed on that first pitch at 94. The fastball down and in.
Morales calling the balls and strikes tonight for the umpires. Yadier Molina delivers the sign. Looks like a changeup coming here to Christian Villanueva. Runner goes. Villanueva takes a pitch low, throw down, and that is a stolen base for Corey Spangenberg. So into scoring position with 2 down. Not a bad pitch to go on. It was down.
Yeah, Molina's pretty good at throwing out runners, but when you see that pitch, as you mentioned, on down right now, he kind of yanks it a little bit shortstop side, opens up the front side. Now the pop-up slide, stay on the bag. Other foot on. Tag is off him now. Good jump by Corey. Taking advantage of that throw on the shortstop side of the second base bat.
So 2 down. Spangenberg at second, and Villanueva ahead in the count, 2-0. Behind is Weaver, 3-0 now with first base open.
Yeah, that was a changeup. That's his best secondary pitch.
Weaver has won each of his 2 career starts against San Diego. Throwing 12 combined scoreless innings in those 2 starts. Villanueva taking, and he takes ball 4. Down to first base he goes. First free pass served up by Luke Weaver of his outing. So 2 on, 2 down, and that'll bring up Freddie Galvis. .233 homers and 22 runs batted in for Galvis.
You know, if he hasn't thrown the changeup yet for a strike, and you see it, just lay off it.
In the air to left center field and over the head of Pham. That'll one-hop the wall. Coming around from second is Spangenberg. He will score. Villanueva's going to try and score, and he will. 2 runs in for the Padres. It's a 2-run double for Freddie Galvis, and the Padres jump out to a 2-0 lead. Able to get it done with 2 outs in the inning.
That's some good hitting with 2 outs. A runner in scoring position. We talk about these Padre hitters going the opposite way. That was a nice, easy swing. Freddie picks up Glenn Hoffman. He stays put, driving in 2. Just like that, the Padres are on the board.
So Galvis into scoring position with the 2-run double, and here's Franmil Reyes. Getting a start in right field tonight for the Padres. Reyes hitting down in the order a little further tonight, and it's 6th. And he takes strike 1 over the outside corner. It's down 0-2. There's the fastball at 94. Swing and a miss, and Reyes strikes out to end the inning, but a good inning for the Padres. They get a pair on top 2-0. And we check out the St. Louis Cardinals starting 9 for Mike Matheny. It is Harrison Bader leading it off in right field. Tommy Pham in center. Jose Martinez at first. Marcelo Osuna in left. Yadier Molina does the catching with Jed Jerko at third base. Jairo Munoz is at shortstop. Colton Wong getting his first start of the series at second base, and Luke Weaver, the pitcher, who surrendered 2 runs in the top of the first inning. Eric Lauer on the mound for the Padres tonight.
23-year-old making his 10th start. He's got to live on the corners. He's got to keep the ball in the yard. Last time against these Cardinals, he did not do that. Surrendered 4 home runs. He's not overpowering. 91, 89. When he gets ahead, he's got to work out of the zone. Hopefully they'll chase that breaking ball down and in to the right-handed hitters.
Harrison Bader leading it off tonight for the Cardinals. We've seen his speed on display in the series. It's a start again in right field for St. Louis. Lauer with a 2-0 advantage even before he took the hill tonight. There's a strike, 3-1. Bader appeared to be taking all the way. Dexter Fowler's been struggling, so Bader been getting the starts. This one fouled off to the right, out of play. Fowler hitting at just 172 in 53 games this year. And Bader hit a home run off Lauer back on May 11th.
Yeah, that's that breaking ball that was up, and it just kind of rolls in from the left-handed pitcher into the right-handed swing of Bader, and it just wasn't in enough. If you throw a breaking ball into a right-handed hitter, being a lefty like Lauer, you got to get it in, because that's one tough pitch to keep fair. They can't do much with it.
Mike Matheny kind of battling as to what to do with Fowler, trying to get him back on track. They certainly need it, but hitting at just 172 in 53 games, tough to keep putting him back out there. There's a liner to right center field, and that's in for a base hit for Bader. Margot will get it back in, but Harrison Bader aboard at first to begin things here in the bottom of the first inning.
We talk about hitting spots. When you're not overpowering, you have to hit your spots, and that's a beautiful swing by Harrison Bader. It's up top, shortens up on the back end. That was his intent. Foot is down, hand is back, explode. Boy, that's pretty. Taking it to the second baseman's side of the second base bag for the single.
Lead runner on here in the bottom of the first inning, and Tommy Pham will take a strike. Pham at 271 to start the night, 9 homers and 23 runs batted in. Outfield playing for him to go the other way. Bader gaining that lead at first. And Lauer noticed, they go over there and they got him. Picked off. That is 5 straight starts in which Lauer has picked off a base runner at first. And Bader is the most recent. We'll see if they get a challenge here. Matheny waiting to find out.
That's unbelievable. What a great move. Bader kind of leaning towards first. Now the quick snap. I think he got him.
Yeah, I think he did too. I'm not sure the fingers got down.
Yep.
Not going to challenge. So picked off.
Padres lead MLB, Major League Baseball, with 13 picks. The pick masters.
Well, his pickoffs already in 4 straight starts coming into this outing tonight have been the longest pickoff streak in Padres history. So he has just added on to that history. There have been 3 other Padres who had 3 pickoffs in 3 straight games, but none with 4.
He's very quick. Snap throw from down under. Gets the foot down, stays within that 45-degree angle.
So pickoff tonight ties him for the second longest. Andy Pettitte had the longest pickoff streak in Major League Baseball in 1997, 8 straight games with a pickoff.
That's incredible. That's really incredible.
His move was really good.
It's a great way to get outs where you don't have to worry about throwing to a hitter. You get a guy napping over there. You know, you don't even have to get him napping. It's just that you sell it like you're going to go to the plate, and he has one heck of a move.
This one pooped to right and going to drop in for a base hit in front of Reyes. 1 out single for Tommy Pham. So 2 hits to begin the night for the Cardinals. That first base runner picked off first base, and Bader, now Pham aboard.
I want to know if there's a record out there where leadoff hitter gets on, you pick him off. Second guy gets on, you pick him off. Third guy gets on, you pick him off.
I'm pretty sure there's not. I'm going to go on a limb.
Probably highly unlikely. But I tell you what, that will put it in the back of the minds of these Cardinal base runners. Maybe shorten up their lead a little bit. Who knows? Pham looks like he's out there to a decent lead.
1 out, 1 on. Jose Martinez, the batter. And he'll foul it off to the right out of play, jumping on that first pitch. Had a 2-run home run in the first game of the series. Part of the Cardinals win, a 3-hit night in that first game of the series for Jose Martinez. Leads the Cardinals with 10 home runs. In the month of June, 5 of them. There's lots of June left. He's having a very good month. Leads the National League in 3-hit games. There's 10 of them.
Yeah, he can flat out hit. He's tough to strike out as well. We talked about that the other day. Usually when you see a big kid like this who likes to swing with pop, and I mean, look at his setup. You think there's going to be some swings and misses.
One drops in there for strike 2. We're giving him 3 runs in 5 innings while walking 7 in a loss to the Miami Marlins on Friday. It was the first game of the road trip for the Padres. Throw over, and that one, had it been thrown close, he had a chance.
He most certainly did.
But he threw it to the home plate side at first. That would have been something. That throw, if it's on the mark, he's out. Fly ball to right center field. Margot racing over. Manuel will get there. Makes the catch as Reyes peels off. Kind of runs in behind him. And a good running catch by Margot. 2 down here in the first inning.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Padres defense, brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Behind the plate tonight, no errors in 224 in the 3rd innings. Rafi Lopez. He's looking out at third base. Christian Villanueva, Freddie Galvis at short, Corey Spangenberg at second, and Eric Hosmer, the Gold Glover, at first. In the outfield, left to right, Jankowski, Margot, and Reyes.
So 2 down, runner at first, and Tommy Pham, and it brings up Marcell Ozuna. Throw over and didn't get him. Pretty close. His foot slipped off the bag. So here, Vandy Green's going to challenge us.
Boy, he crossed over.
Oh, did he keep it on him?
If he kept it on him, he's out.
That front foot falling off the bag. He may have taken it off. Apparently he did. Padres not challenging. .283, 7 homers, 35 runs batted in for Ozuna.
I'll tell you what, he has shortened up at first base significantly.
I would too. Pitch of this first inning coming up for Eric Lauer. His 10th start of the year for the Padres. Going over again and crossing over to get back his Pham. You can see where it would be a problem. I mean, it looks like all of his momentum is coming forward, like he's going to be throwing plateward, and he just kind of slings it over there.
You know, it's easier from our vantage point because we can see his momentum kind of going when he lifts his leg. There's a little bit, and that's a different vantage point from running at first base, of course. Just a little bit.
That's what fouled off down the right field line, out of play.
But you're right, Don. It's identical to his leg kick and hands parting as if he's going towards the plate.
Most runners picked off this season, 7. One-two pitch coming up. It bounces in, blocked by Lopez. That pitch was in the dirt. Did you get anywhere with complaining about Marcell Ozuna's neon sleeve? Did you call the league like you said you were going to?
I put a call in the commissioner's office, still waiting to hear back.
Haven't got back to you yet. On the ground left side. Galvis, the shortstop, going to second, and they'll force out Pham and end the inning. Padres enjoy a 2-0 lead after 1.
the world at the 118th U.S. Open. Live coverage begins Thursday from Shinnecock Hills on Fox FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. It's in the hole.
Hey, guess what? It's Star Wars night.
Shocker.
For the 14th time this season. Everywhere we go is Star Wars night. It's unbelievable.
Princess Leia's here conducting interviews. I didn't know she was a Cardinal fan.
Stormtroopers are here.
Yeah.
That's Chewbacca, right?
Is it?
I think so. Manuel Margot will take a pitch outside for ball one. And he's batting out of the 7th spot in the order. Margot, 6 for his last 16, hitting at .375 during a 5-game hitting streak. He's mixed in 2 doubles during that time as well. Grounds it up the middle into center field, a base hit for Margot, and a good start to the 2nd inning. So that's the 3rd hit of the night Padres have put together against Luke Weaver.
Talk about Manuel Margot, and talked to Matt Stairs recently about the lower half of Manuel Margot and how he's made some adjustments with his feet, with driving with his legs, using his feet in a certain way to turn things around. And Manuel Margot singles sharply up the center of the diamond. Good looking swing.
So Margot at first, and Rafi Lopez standing in on the left side. A throw over to first, and Margot back to the bag. The move for Luke Weaver not nearly as good as Eric Lauer. Of course, also a right-hander makes a big difference, I would think.
Yeah, can still be quick with the feet and the snap throw. It's a totally different throw. We've talked about that before. The best right-handed move, I've mentioned his name many times, Armando Reynoso. Pitched for the Braves, came up with the Braves, pitched with the Diamondbacks and a couple other teams, but he was so quick with his feet. I mean, bang, and then snap throw from his ear.
Margot dives back this time safely again. I mentioned the 7 now for Eric Lauer as far as pickoffs go. The first rookie to have 7 pickoffs in a season since Julio Teheran did in 2013 for the Atlanta Braves. We just saw Teheran, and we'll likely see him again here coming up in the 4-game series against the Braves. The rookie pickoff record this season is 16 by Greg Smith in 2008 for the Oakland A's. I don't remember Greg Smith.
I don't remember him either.
I guess we should.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. 16. Waiting on deck, nobody out here in the 2nd inning. Rafi Lopez with a count of 2-1. On the ground, it kicks out to second base. Long will put the second for 1, on to first for 2. The tough part was going to be around the bag at second. You had the catcher and Rafi Lopez running. And they made some fancy footwork out there to get it done, and it's a double play.
Yeah, the thing that stands out on this play here, not smooth at the keystone, but because of the slow runner, the Cardinal defense has plenty of time. Also, that ball hitting off the side of the mound helps. And Munoz, great footwork, getting rid of that pill quickly on the back end.
So 2 down, and it brings up Eric Lauer, who has 2 hits in his rookie season. Two for 10 at the plate as an RBI too. Got that first hit in Denver in his first major league game that he appeared in. The walks a real problem for him last time out. So far tonight has not walked anybody in that first inning. Gave up a couple of hits, but out of it unscathed. Had to throw 22 pitches though in that first inning. pitcher working to pitcher here with 2 down in the second inning. And Lauer strikes out. Second strikeout for Weaver. That'll end the top of the second inning. Padres have a 2-0 lead.
To find themselves at the big league level, when they get hit for the first time, they take a step back and go, wow, what's different? And then they check inside themselves and they find the resolve, and then they take a step forward. I think he's in the process of doing all of that right now. He's battled back from some rough ones to throw up some really good ones, and now you just want to see him string a number of good outings together, and he's still fighting to do that. But there's positive signs every time he's out there.
And that was Andy Green on Eric Lauer's confidence level since coming up to the majors. And you heard Andy there. He's kind of had a roller coaster start to the season. Some quality starts and then some ones he'd probably rather forget. And they've kind of gone back to back. So he's still looking to put together a few good outings, one after the other. But Andy Green said that he's encouraged by his fastball. He said that his fastball's got better life to it in the last 2 starts. And as soon as he can find those secondary pitches that he can rely on, he thinks that he'll really be able to turn a corner. Don Mudd. So he's getting to that point where they're hoping to see that from him soon.
All right, Andy, thanks very much. You know, it's been so far so good tonight. And
yeah.
Look for those back-to-back outings. That's really the thing, trying to put it together. But sort of developing here at the major league level, which is always tough.
That's a big pitch right there we just saw for strike one. Inner half glove side. We've talked about that from left-handers against righties. Predominantly, you're going to face a lot of right-handed hitters. And when you don't throw hard, you can't throw it over the heart of the plate. You split that plate up into 3 sections, the inner third, the outer third, and the middle third. You have to avoid that middle third. And if you are going to throw a pitch down that part of the section of the plate, you better have some movement. And once in a while you get away with one, like there at 91, right down the middle.
When Lauer works 5 or more innings, he owns a 2.67 earned run average. It seems like the deeper he goes, the better he kind of gets. For some reason, the early portion of games have been a problem for him.
Some guys just get that feel of the mound. I'm not saying that's the case for Eric, but they get in sync with their delivery. They find that one release point for a certain pitch. It could be a number of things. Nothing better than when you're out there on the hill and you're not thinking. You just go through your delivery and the ball's going exactly where you want it. Didn't happen very often for me, but it's fun when it happens. You just see the sign, you go into your delivery, next thing you know, man, the catcher's not even moving his glove.
It's a sign from Rafi Lopez and goes to work. 2-2 the count. Lauer lost to Weaver and the Cardinals back on May 11th, allowing 6 runs in 2 1/3 innings. Eventual 9-5 Padres defeat. He has faced them in his major league career.
Have you noticed a lot of moths here?
Yes, it was one that just crawled up my leg a little while ago.
It was during Freddie Galvis's 2-run double.
You were hopping around over there like, oh my gosh, you've got ants in your pants or something?
I almost missed the entire thing. I looked up and saw the ball was in the air. This one is popped up, foul ground first base way. Hosmer just beyond the Cardinals dugout makes the catch for the first out of the second inning. Yeah, there are several in the booth I noticed, and then all of a sudden there was one like by my knee. And to be honest with you, the way it was moving around, I thought it was like a mouse or something.
Yeah.
And then I thought I was imagining things because you have this giant fan going behind us. And I thought maybe that was the situation. Only to have it move further over on my leg and realize it was something in my pant leg.
Yeah, the pitcher's in his delivery and Don's going. It's like looking down. I'm like,
I was freaking out.
What's going on over there?
And I looked up and the ball was in the air. And I said, Freddie Galvis lifts it.
Look at, there he is.
That might be one of them. They're all over the place here in St. Louis. It's like the state bird. It's one of found back to the screen. They're huge. It's unbelievable.
I saw one with a collar on it.
Yeah.
Had like a name tag.
Yes,
If
people have them
found,
as
please
pets.
return to the Smiths with a phone number on it.
Exactly. Swing and a miss, and striking out is Jed Jerko. First strikeout for Eric Lauer. Out number 2 of the second inning.
I mentioned about pitching into the righties, right? Getting ahead and then going inside. Watch Rafi Lopez. Yeah, that breaking ball. Wow, that misses way inside. Out of the hand, looks very inviting to Jed Jerko. And you know, it's about halfway through that swing. It's almost as if Jed is telling himself, I got to get out of the way. It looks like that ball might hit me.
2 down here in the second inning. Jairo Munoz, the shortstop, coming up. And he drives one to center field. Back goes Margot. He'll have room out there. And he makes the catch shy of the track that ends the second inning. Play 2. Padres have a 2-0 lead. All right, Mike and Mark, thanks very much as we're back in St. Louis and ready to go here in the top of the third inning. The top of the Padres order. Travis Jankowski leading it off. Rounded out to first base in the first.
How about Gene Segura for the M's, huh? Scored at least 1 run, 17 of the 22 games he's played in since May 18th.
Part of the reason that they say when Cano comes back, he'll be sharing time at second base, not the everyday second baseman. And really, that's become a two-team situation there in the West right now with the Astros and the surprise Mariners.
I wouldn't have guessed Mariners.
No.
Ben Gamel's doing well, and there's the standings.
Angels are 7.5 back of the Mariners on top.
And we know anything can happen. Still plenty of baseball left, as we all know.
This one fouled off to the left out of play. We got a two-team race right now in the West, a two-team race in the AL East. Yankees and Red Sox. In fact, they are tied to start the day, and Tampa Bay is 14 games back in third place.
Yeah, and the Yankees have won 10 of their last 12. Don.
Thanks, John.
The pitch.
The 1-2 is in the dirt. 2-2 coming up. When you go over to the other side to do radio, do you?
Sometimes.
Do you do a John Sterling imitation?
Not really.
Do you sing the Padres win? Slice foul off to the left.
The nicknames, I just laugh. It's funny.
The home run calls.
Like Gleyber Torres.
Gleyber of love.
Gleyber of love on Gleyber Day. Like a good Gleyber, Torres is there.
One of my personal favorites was Curtis Granderson, the Grandy man.
Oh yeah.
This is the center field. And Tommy Pham back a few steps and over. Pulls it in for out number 1. Jankowski retired. It's time now for our Valley View Casino trivia question. And the question tonight, Red Shane-East, he is one of 2 managers to have won over 1,000 games with the Cardinals. Can you name the other? Choose your answers by the end of the inning using hashtag Valley View Trivia.
Well, Red had a great life. He recently passed away, and everybody you talk to that have come in touch with Red Shane-East, just a great human being, great for baseball, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
National Baseball Hall of Fame, Cardinal Hall of Fame. From Germantown, Illinois. He and a buddy of his, when they were kids, 16, 17 years old, had to scrounge up change to take a train to St. Louis for a tryout camp for the Cardinals. Branch Rickey was running it.
Now ball to second base. Colton Wong throws out Spangenberg. 2 down here in the third inning. Time out for the tools of the trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks.
How about the last 2 home runs that, 2 home runs that Eric Hosmer has fastballs away, and we know that Eric likes to go the opposite way. The knob is first, the barrel follows, and he puts a pop in it. Now here's a curveball. It's an off-speed pitch that he stays on long enough and drives it straight away center field. Great hand-eye coordination, great to the opposite field, not only with singles and doubles, but pop as well. Middle and middle away. This is a pitcher's perspective looking in towards the catcher. So down the middle, 15 of his 71 hits, and then he likes extended from the belt buckle away on the outer half with 14. But getting back to Red Shane-East, he and his buddy scrounge up change to get on a train to St. Louis from Germantown, Illinois for a tryout. Branch Rickey is running it. After the first day, Branch Rickey says, "Hey, can you stay overnight?" He goes, he kind of went, yeah, I can, no problem. Didn't have any money for a hotel. So he stayed on like a park bench, overnight.
Wow.
Next day, signed him, rest is history for Red.
That's amazing.
Isn't that a great story?
Hauled off the left out of play, so he would have been from the part of Illinois that's pretty close to St. Louis, then, is what you're telling me.
I think Germantown is
this way.
South of southern.
Your way.
No, I'm from the north. Yeah. There it is. Gateway to the west. The arch.
Hosmer down the left field line and will find its way foul into the seats. We were operating at 96 miles an hour. He's now retired 4 Padres in a row. Has 2 outs here in the third inning, trying to register his first 1-2-3 inning of his outing. This one softly lined, deep shortstop from short left. Munoz's throw not going to be in time. Hosmer with the infield hit beats it out, and a 2-out base hit here for Hosmer.
Any way you can prolong the inning, extend the inning. Okay, we know he likes to go the opposite way, right? This one is up at 96, down by the label. Gets past Jerko And Munoz knows that Eric does not have blazing speed, but he's so far in the hole at shortstop. Even getting rid of that one quickly, no chance of getting him.
So 2 outs, runner at first, and it brings up Christian Villanueva. Walked in the first inning. Look out. Up and in at 94. That grabs his attention.
That'll wake you up.
Check swing grounded to first base. Martinez on the backhand. He'll tag the bag and end the inning. Padres leave a runner but enjoy a 2-0 lead from St. Louis.
That conviction plays a huge role at this level. You can't, I don't want to use a swear word, but you can't have a pitch. You got to be behind it 100%. And if you're not fully comfortable throwing a certain pitch, guys are going to pick up on that, and they're going to be able to either lay off of it or crush it. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing that I've noticed so far.
Eric Lauer explaining about what he has learned at the big league level, not being tentative. When you're tentative, you nibble. When you nibble, you fall behind. And when you don't have the electric stuff, you have to be aggressive and pitch with conviction. And Eric Lauer can look through the course of history of baseball and find guys that have been very, very successful who throw like him and has excelled at this level. I mean, it's a learning process, right? But if you have a fastball away from your catcher, get it there. Have conviction and prove to yourself that, yes, I'm going to throw the strike and I'm going to beat this guy in this particular pitch, like that right there. And I'm sure he's had a lot of help from A.J. Ellis. He's had a lot of help from Darren Balsley. He's had a lot of help from Rafi Lopez. And from the quotes that I've heard from Eric, the kid's got a fire in his belly. You can tell that. You can tell guys' personalities by the way they react after an outing. There's been many times, there's Big Darren. There's been many times when after an outing, Eric's not happy with himself. And he's almost like wants to, you know, kick himself in the rear end and let's go. That's not me. So.
Yeah, I know he felt that way after the last outing in Miami with all the walks that he had, the 7 walks in that outing. I'm interested by the conviction thing. I want to ask you about that. This one is grounded foul. So Rafi Lopez puts, let's say he puts down a fastball. And in this instance, Eric Lauer doesn't want to really throw a fastball, but he's decided he's going to go with what Rafi wants. So now he's going to turn all of a sudden and make it his conviction. I guess that's the point. I mean, he's got to all of a sudden believe in it and not really think himself. Let Rafi do the thinking for him. So line into left field. Weaver's got a base hit with 1 out.
I think right now, and I could do some homework and talk to Darren Balsley about this, but I would have to think that Eric Lauer is in the mode right now to where they want to try to eliminate all the thinking. And they know the scouting report, how to go about these Cardinal hitters. So he is trusting Rafi Lopez of what he puts down and where he wants to throw the pitch. And extensively, they're in meetings all the time going over. And he has had 2 games now to watch this Cardinal team, the way they hit. But I guess to answer your question, if I were a betting man, Eric Lauer's the type of guy right now, he's in the mode where if Rafi's putting down the signs, he's going with that. And he should feel good about that too, because Rafi's, you know, in the meetings and he knows these hitters and how to set them up.
He's got a game plan of his own.
Yeah.
So on a grounded foul outside of third base. The at-bat continues here. Luke Weaver with a base hit aboard here at first base with 1 down. Third hit given up by Eric Lauer, and it's the 4th hit that Luke Weaver, the pitcher, has had this year for the Cardinals. He's got an idea at the plate. He's now 4 for 20 at the plate.
Now here's a curveball, right? He wants to bounce it, get it down there. Well, that's a pretty good looking swing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He had a good swing his first time up when he drove that ball to right center field.
A base hit, one of the 3 that the Cardinals have in this game. It's the Padres on top 2-0 right now. Very high. Lauer did enjoy a 1-2-3 second inning. Going out in the second, striking out Jerko and getting Munoz to fly out to center. 1 out base runner right now for the Cardinals, and there's a 1-2. Four-seamer, cutter, curve, and a changeup for the most part from Lauer. Four-seamer 63.7% of the time. Going over there, and the pitcher just kind of falling back towards the bag. He's been forewarned of the move of Eric Lauer. So his lead was not large at all. Popped up, foul ground. Rafi Lopez got a late break, but he'll get there. Nice catch by Lopez. 2 down in the inning. Time for the top tier plays brought to you by Arco. How about some pickoffs from Lauer? They've been great.
Very quick move over to first base, catching a lot of base runners off balance. And you know what else is key? Where Eric Lauer throws the baseball. It's got to be on the outfield side. Even if there's one at Eric Hosmer's head, Eric is very quick with that glove to catch it and plant the tag. But can you imagine how many more he would have if he was consistently on that second baseman side of the first base bag?
That's a fair ball, and a throw to first base. It's in time to get Tommy Pham. And to end the third inning, the Padres take a 2-0 lead to the fourth. Coming down from third was being able to make the play and the throw across after it was ruled fair. To the fourth. Brought to you by Cadillac. Visit your San Diego Cadillac dealers today. And by Petco, the pet company. Christian Villanueva with a nice play from third base last inning to end the inning. And the Padres enjoy a 2-0 lead to the fourth inning. The Padres on top, and as we welcome in Tony Gwynn Jr. and Tony, so far so good for Lauer, trying to bounce back after a tough outing the first time against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, he's kind of had the good outing, bad outing, good outing. He's on pace for a good outing today, and he's off to a good start, pitching to contact, which is how he's going to get most of his outs. He's not an overpowering type of pitcher, so he wants the Cardinals to put the ball in play and rely on his defense.
And the Padres jumping out of the 2-0 advantage with 2 runs in the first inning. Able to do that against the starter for the Cardinals, Luke Weaver. And it was Freddie Galvis getting the job done with a big double in that first with 2 down.
Yeah, he hopped on that first pitch he saw from Weaver. Fastball outer third of the plate, and he drives this ball, short hops the wall in left center. Villanueva, who was running well, 2 outs, is able to score to give the Padres the 2-0 lead.
For Freddie Galvis, RBIs 23 and 24 on the year. And it's Freddie who leads it off here in the top of the fourth inning. Two for 8 in the series is the Padres shortstop. Outfield straight away on Galvis. Breeze has picked up here, blowing from left to right according to the flags out there in left center field right now across the outfield. Not a huge breeze, but gusting once in a while. Galvis with a big cut.
The breeze gives you the impression that it's real cool here.
Yeah, it's not. And it hasn't been for the 3 days here, and I'm pretty sure Atlanta's not going to be all that.
No, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's going to be pretty warm.
Yeah. Probably the biggest of the crowds here the 3 days. They've all been better than 40,000. This one appears to be the largest. As Galvis with a swing and a miss, he'll strike out third K for Luke Weaver. One down here in the fourth inning. It's time now for the answer to our trivia question. We had Shane Dienst, one of 2 managers to have won over 1,000 games with the Cardinals. Can you name the other? Tony La Russa with over 1,400 wins, 1,408 to be exact, in his time here from 1996 through 2011. Of course, Tony La Russa also on the wall in St. Louis out there in left field. There's a grounder to third, a big hop for Jerko. He spins and fires. Low throw, but it's dug out by Martinez. Nice play by Jose Martinez at first base, and Franmil Reyes retired.
Nice play by Jerko as well. One in the hole a little bit. Catches it on an in-between hop. Little spin turn, and the throw is up the line. This is the luxury of having a tall first baseman. He's able to pick that out of the dirt. Get the second out.
2 down here in the fourth inning, and Manuel Margot standing in. Single to center field in the second inning. Kind of a half-hearted swing, kind of changed his mind in the middle.
Yeah, a little fool on that slider from Weaver. Margot certainly has picked up the pace offensively. Swinging a much better bat here as of late.
Swing and a miss, and it is 2-2.
Weaver mixing in that cutter. slider slash cutter.
Manuel has really made some changes at the plate, really doing well, really since June 1st.
They've worked a lot with this leg kick, and it's tough to do it. I mean, any hitter who uses a leg kick, it's a timing issue generally, but for him, it's been more of a weight distribution.
There's another base hit into left field. 2 for 2 in the ball game. Is Manuel Margot, wide turn at first, and he will retreat to the bag at first, but a 2-out base hit and his second hit of the night.
He just really seems to be locked in at the plate. It's a fast, just look like a changeup maybe, or a slider up in the zone. Doesn't do a lot.
Down Margot at first. Here's Rafi Lopez. Bounced into a double play first time up back in the second inning. 0 for 1. Diving back at first is Margot. Weaver is yet to record a 1-2-3 inning. Up a 2-out base hit here to Manuel Margot, and about to throw his 58th pitch of the night with 2 down in the 4th inning. Keeping the tag on him just in case Margot came off the bag.
Can't hurt, right? I mean, if guys fall asleep or take their hand off a little bit earlier and that tag's still on, with replay now, you can go to the replay and get an out because of that.
On the ground, second baseman Colton Wong from the outfield grass throws out Lopez and ends the inning. Padres have a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 4th inning. The 2018 World Cup in Russia is just hours away, and here's a first look at the Fox Sports studio at Red Square in Moscow. Rob Stone, Ali Wagner, and Gus Hiddink and Alexi Lalas are preparing for the opening broadcast on Thursday. You can catch every match live with over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event is just a day away, only on Fox and FS1. And today, the 2026 World Cup was awarded to the United bid from the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. So you're a huge soccer guy, so that's going to be big.
It's exciting. I know my daughters are all pumped about it. When they actually called me about it today to let me know that the U.S. had won part of the North America, South Americas have a bid. So it's going to be exciting. I enjoy soccer, so.
Pretty cool. Now, I saw you with a scarf on here the other night. What was going on with that exactly? You have one team in particular you're rooting for? Is that what it is?
No, that was the 23andMe thing we kind of did together.
Okay.
Where I got to see where my bloodlines kind of roll through. It just so happens to be Nigeria, so that's a team that I'm connected to, but I think Portugal's going to win.
Okay. Well, it's good to get a scouting report from you heading in. Jose Martinez leading it off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Nice batting average in the month of June. We were talking about him earlier and what he has been able to accomplish. 472, that'll work. 5 home runs too in June.
Such a good story, right? I mean, spends a long time in the minor leagues, doesn't come up till he's around 29 years of age, and really has taken the opportunity that he's gotten and just run with it.
Next pitch will be the 50th for Lauer of his outing, and that picks up the outside corner. He's hitting at 322 this year, and if you look at his lineup, this is the one guy you're not going to let beat you.
Right, right. Now, he is the guy that's supplying really all the production for this ball club. We got a chance to see why he's having success in that first game against the Padres. First 3 at bats, he goes single up the middle, home run to center. You see his hot spots in, middle, away, probably about thigh high. Your best bet is to keep the ball either down at the bottom of the zone or at the top of the zone.
In the air to right field, down the line, Reyes over towards the corner, and he makes the catch on the warning track. Down by that 335 marker in the right field corner. And Jose Martinez out number 1 to the 4th inning.
You see why he has the ability to be so dangerous. This ball is located where it's supposed to be, maybe a little bit up. And Martinez drives this ball to the wall. Reyes does a nice job getting over to make the play.
1 out in the 4th inning, and Marcelo Zuna coming up. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. Lines one into right field, a ringing single to right. Reyes grabbing it on a hop, but Zuna is on with 1 down in the 4th inning.
Zuna wasting no time at all. Jumps on the first pitch fastball he sees from Lauer. Once again, mislocated, supposed to be away. It ends up in the middle. And Zuna lasers this ball to right field for a single.
1 out, 1 on, and Yadier Molina coming up here. Fouled out to the first baseman, Eric Hosmer, in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. Cardinals are thrilled to have Molina back. As he reaches out and lifts a fly ball to left field, Jankowski moving over. That makes the catch for out number 2. Should have back to the bag at first, 2 away.
I think any manager would be happy to have Yadier Molina back in the lineup. I mean, basically another coach on the field. You don't have to worry about your young pitching staff at all when he's out there, because you know he's going to put the right fingers down, and he pretty much eliminates the running game. Padres had some success today getting a bag in this game, but generally speaking, there's not a lot of success running the bases, at least from a still point of view, when you got Molina behind the dish.
Jed Jerko, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. The only strikeout for Eric Lauer in the ballgame. The good news is no walks for Lauer in this game, and that was a big problem last time out.
Yeah, after the 7 he had in his last outing, really much better commanding the baseball today so far.
He's really got to hit his spots, so he's not going to blow you away.
He does. He has to hit his spots, and he can't be concerned with the punch out. That he doesn't have that kind of stuff. So he wants to pitch to contact, allow his defense to do the work for him.
1 strikeout in this game through 3 2/3. Season high, really career high, since this is his first year in the big leagues. He's 7. Struck out 7 at Washington, and struck out 7 in San Francisco against the Giants.
And we're talking about soft contact. The more soft contact that Lauer has in a game, the deeper it's likely he's going to be in a game.
the thing. He has gone beyond 6 innings in any outing this year. 6 against Washington, 6 against the Dodgers. And only twice, this being his 10th start, has gone over 100 pitches.
Yeah, some of that is the organization wanting to keep close tabs on his pitches, but some of it is he has to expend so many pitches prior to getting outs or contact that his pitch count ends up being pretty high by the 5th inning.
I got Jose Martinez to fly out to right to begin the inning. Marcelo Zuna with a single to right. Molina flied out to left. So 2 down, a runner at first. Pitch 60 on the night coming for Eric Lauer. Jerko lines it foul down the right field line out of play.
Now, of course, some of the issues of getting deeper in the game could just be him strengthening one of his 4 pitches that he uses, making one more of an out pitch where he's getting guys to either punch out or put the ball in play. That might be where some of the issue is.
Line to the left side in the left field, a base hit for Jerko. Osuna will take second base, and the Cardinals have 2 on with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Talked about in order for Lauer to have success, he has to locate the baseball. Here, this pitch is supposed to be in. It ends up middle away. 88 miles per hour. Jerko is all over this pitch. Find some space through the 5.5 on. Cardinals have runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Brings up Jairo Munoz, the shortstop for St. Louis, who flied out to center field in the second. Zuna at second, Jerko at first with 2 down. Gathered by Lopez, and Lauer falling behind here 2-0. Padres with a 2-0 advantage. They get those 2 runs in the first inning. Munoz fouls it back to the screen, and it's 2-1. Figured he'd get the fastball. He did, and fouled it back.
Certainly for Munoz, he certainly wants that pitch back. He got a fastball middle in there. 2-0 count. And listen, 2-0, 3-1 aren't the counts they used to be. Those aren't guaranteed fastballs. You see a lot more breaking balls and off-speed pitches in that count, but here he gets a 2-0 fastball and misses it.
Grounded back to the mound. Lauer with a good pick at the base of the hill and throws out Munoz to end the inning. We head to the 5th with San Diego on top 2-0. Padres on deck. The 2018 Texas League All-Stars. San Antonio Missions have a league-high 9 players named to that team. Austin Allen, Josh Naylor, who we saw earlier, is a first baseman. Well, he's had an introduction to Mark McGuire in between innings. This was just moments ago. Great former Cardinal coming home. Eric Lauer leading it off here in the inning. This one fouled off to the right, out of play. Lauer, Jankowski, and Spangenberg featured in the inning. Mark came back here last year, a very emotional time for him to come back here. And Cardinals fans celebrated his career last season, leaving the team for a little while to do so.
You did a lot of excellent things here in St. Louis.
Still have Big Max area over there.
He was certainly putting them up there quite often.
Quite a few. Lauer strikes out. That's the 4th K for Weaver. One down here in the 5th inning.
I actually got to be in attendance for home run number 500. Was reached here as my dad was pursuing the 3,000 hit. They get it. He gets the 500th one day before my dad gets his 3,000th. Wasn't able to get it here in St. Louis. So
you guys went to Montreal from here then?
They went to Montreal. I actually didn't go. I didn't get to go to Montreal.
Oh, no.
I was on the first half of the trip, and then I told him I needed him to get it that last day. Couldn't get 2 hits for some reason.
Travis Jankowski 0 for 2. He is grounded out and flat out to center. Fouled off over by the Padres dugout.
Seems like all the rabbits for the Padres are starting to swing the bat well, which really gives Andy Green some more options. You see today he has Jankowski and Spangenberg 1 and 2 with Margot down at the bottom. Eventually he's going to have more options with these guys swinging the bat better.
Liner to short that is caught in the air by Munoz. Kind of a sinking liner. Looked like it may want Hoppin, but he makes the grab before it does, and Jankowski is out number 2.
See him go down and get the glove underneath the ball just before it hits the ground. Nice play by Munoz there.
3 in a row retired by Weaver. Still looking for that first 1-2-3 inning. Here's Corey Spangenberg trying to break that up. He's 3 for 9 now in the series. Speed doesn't do you a lot of good if you can't get on to first base. That's a problem.
That's why it's important that they're either getting on base at a high clip or they're hitting at a high clip. Just imagine if Eric Hosmer had 2 guys in front of him when he's coming up to the plate on a consistent basis.
Ground ball up the middle into center field, and Corey Spangenberg with another hit. Got a single back in the first inning. He's got a single here in the 5th. Weaver still does not have a 1-2-3 inning.
Certainly keeps the line moving. See Spangy gets his foot down early. Bangs this ball right back up the middle. Weaver's going to have to keep an eye on it. He's already got 1 base today.
Comes Eric Hosmer looking for a multi-hit game. He's got 25 of them, second only to Nick Markakis in the National League. Hosmer had a single back in the 3rd inning. Tied with Freddie Freeman in that category. We'll see Freddie Freeman beginning tomorrow night again in a series against the Braves. Quick check on Spangenberg at first. Spangenberg is able to steal a base against Weaver in the 1st inning, and quite sure Luke Weaver remembers.
There's no doubt he remembers. You have one of the best catchers behind the dish, and a team is successful stealing a base. Certainly you're looking at yourself as being the problem.
Line to right field for Hosmer. That's going to get in. Spangenberg will stop at second base. Throw cut off, and it's first and second, and the Padres have something going here with 2 down in the inning.
This is becoming a recurring theme for Eric Hosmer. At least 2 hits. Fastball middle in, and he turns on this bad boy. Bader does a nice job of getting to this ball and getting it in with the speedy Spangenberg threatening to go to third there.
2 on, 2 down here in the 5th inning. It brings up Christian Villanueva. Villanueva walked and scored as part of a 2-run first inning for San Diego, and then rounded out to first base in the 3rd inning.
I think it's pretty clear now how teams are going to attack Villanueva. They're going to pound him in hard, soft away. Weaver got away with that last fastball.
This one a little harder at 94, and it's 0-2. Maybe a little higher up too.
And that's a pitch we've seen Villa get on top of and drive out of the ballpark. Sometimes for pitchers, it's about catching a hitter at the right time. Whether that's a cutter or a slider, there's not a lot of difference between that and a fastball. I assume that was their version of going soft away, but when pitcher doesn't have it in his repertoire to be able to get the pitch under a certain velocity, it can be troublesome.
Another fastball, this one missing up and away, and it's 2-2. Weaver at 72 pitches, working with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Got 2 quick outs in Lauer and Jankowski, but Spangenberg with a single, Hosmer a single, and all of a sudden you got 2 on, 2 down. Padres looking to add on to a 2-0 advantage here in the 5th inning. Popped up shallow center, the shortstop Munoz. 2 strides on the outfield grass to make the catch and ends the inning. Padres strand a pair but have a 2-0 lead.
Military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Padres on top 2-0 as we head into the home half of the 5th inning. Eric Lauer back on the mound. 65 pitches deep into his outing. Left hand ready to work to Colton Wong. Leads it off here for the Cardinals. Long grounded out to second base in the third inning. 0 for 1. On the ground, softly in towards short. Rounding behind it is Galvis. Throws on the run and in time. One down in the fifth inning.
Eric Lauer has been very efficient today, and he's had some success with the cutter. It's not a big pitch, but a pitch that keeps hitters off of the barrel just a little bit. Wong rolls over that ball. You see Pham do the same thing. And now Munoz, this ball gets in on him. And it's not, like I said, it's not a pitch that's going to punch a lot of guys out or have them looking foolish, but it keeps them off the sweet part of the bat just enough to induce those outs.
There's Luke Weaver, the pitcher, showing bunt and pulling back.
And for Eric Lauer, that's so important to get those kind of outs because he's not going to strike out a lot of people. We've talked about it. He's got to be able to pitch to contact. The cutter is his second most used pitch out of the 4 that he has, somewhere around 21%.
Well, so far he has not had an outing in which he has not walked anyone. This one is lined to left field. Jankowski coming into the slide to make the catch. Nicely done on a sinking liner. Jankowski with that good speed coming in, had to go into the slide, but makes the grab. 2 down.
Tell you what, that is such a tough play. A ball hit right at you. You very rarely see the kind of jump that Travis Jankowski got on this ball. He ends up having to go feet first sliding. But the first step on that ball was the reason why he was able to get himself in position to make the play there on Weaver. Saw Weaver looking a little bit upset.
Harrison Bader taking a first pitch strike. Bader 1 for 2, singled to center field in the first inning, fouled out to the catcher Rafi Lopez in the third. Well, the good news is Lauer's not walked anybody in this outing. Just got done saying that he's not gone an outing where he hasn't walked anybody. We mentioned the 7 last time out. 1-1 pitch, foul back to the screen. 1-2.
It's been impressive because his Cardinal hitters have made him work. He's had quite a few at bats where they fouled a bunch of pitches off, yet he was still able to refocus and make another pitch.
Swing and a miss, and Lauer strikes out Bader to end the inning. Second strikeout for Lauer. Nicely done. He had struck out Jed Jerko in the second. He strikes out Harrison Bader to end the fifth. We played 5 with the Padres on top 2-0. Now the 7th straight game as Jed Jerko with a swing and a miss. And Jerko one of 2 Ks for Lauer in the game. Offensively, the Padres getting a 2-run shot off a double. It would score 2. Villanueva coming in with a second run from. And this one lined into left field, and coming in was Travis Jankowski to make the catch defensively. So Freddie Galvis with the 2-run double. What's the difference in the game? And leading it off is Freddie Galvis as we move to the 6th inning. Galvis, Reyes, and Margot anticipated in the inning. Freddie with a double that drove in 2 back in the 1st inning. And Galvis striking out swinging in the 4th, so 1 for 2 in the ball game. Tried to hold up. They'll check. He went around, says Chris Siegel. Fastball up. Stirring in the Cardinals pen for the first time tonight out there. Weaver jumping ahead 0-2.
Padres have the same formula, it seems like, when they're winning ball games. They have a clean sheet on the E column. They have some timely hitting, and they get some good starting pitching. We know what the end result is once you get it to the bullpen.
It's a formula that seems to be working. They were able to get to Weaver for 2 in the 1st. They've not scored since, but because of the good pitching, it has held up. Guesses are looking for 1 more inning out of Lauer.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. The bullpen, 5 guys pitched out of the bullpen yesterday. You certainly will go to the back end portion if you need to. Obviously, with Yates and Hand, Stammen, don't let me forget about him.
2-2 is slap foul down the left field line, out of play.
But to me, when you get this good starting pitching and you play defense, you're in every game at that point. And for the Padres, as well as they have hit so far with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, it's a good formula.
Galvis moving his feet to get out of the way of that pitch.
One of the other things that's been cut down dramatically has been the punch outs. Padres are not punching out nearly as much as they were at the beginning of the season.
It was at a rapid pace early. This is softly lined and caught at second base by Colton Wong. 1 down. Defensively, as far as errors go, the Padres are 5th in that category. They've committed a total of 38 errors, the least amount of errors in the National League. The Colorado Rockies with 23. They're playing the best defense right now.
I think, at least to my recollection, since the Padres have moved to Petco, the years that they've been in contention or at least competitive, they're doing those 2 things. They're pitching and they're playing deep. Now, not every team is going to have big boppers, but you certainly can have guys who just come up with timely hits.
On the flip side of this, the Cardinals with 48 errors. Defense has not been good.
Defense hasn't been good for the Cardinals. They're not scoring runs like they were, but the reason why they're still in, because their starting pitching has been excellent. It's among the best in all of baseball.
1 out here in the inning, a 2-0 pitch to Reyes. What are you seeing from Fran Mill right now?
Doesn't seem as though his game plan is being executed as well as it was. Earlier, he'd make a punch out, he'd go out, look at it on film, he'd kind of know what he wanted to do the next time up, he'd execute it. Now it seems like the league is starting to make their adjustment, and he hasn't quite caught up yet.
Liner here down the left field line, a foul ball. Tonight 0 for 2, struck out in the 1st inning, grounded out at 3rd base in the 4th inning. Catch a game break. Earlier game today from Camden Yards in Baltimore. American League East battle, Red Sox and Orioles. We'll get you caught up on that.
like to see Fran Mill get back to driving the baseball, especially the fastball.
Inside for ball 3, full count. Fastball's been around 94 for Weaver all night, still is, with 1 out here in the 6th inning. And well, Margot waiting on deck. To center field, Pham on the way in will dive out there and make the catch. No, 1 hop. So heading to second base is Reyes, and Pham unable to make the grab on the fly. Able to keep it from getting by him, though. And it's a 1-out double for Franmil Reyes. Pham had to go from right center to left center and couldn't come up with it.
See Reyes stay back on that breaking ball, gets in on him a little bit, which is something you want to see. This ball looks like it hits him right in the heel of the glove. Hits him right in the pocket of the glove, just is unable to squeeze it. Fran Mill is on second with his first career double.
Pham upset with himself there. He got a lot of glove on it, no doubt about it. Thought it may have one-hopped him, it didn't.
Ball caught him right in that pocket, unable to squeeze it on the actual dive. But that was a good at bat from Fran Mill. We hadn't seen that in a little bit. 2 strikes. He's obviously still protective. Lets that breaking ball get a little deep, but he hits it on a line to center field.
Well, first action we've seen tonight for the Cardinals. We have seen him already in the series. Austin Gomber warming in the pen. Franmil Reyes at second base, 1 away here in the Padres' 6th inning. And Manuel Margot's had a good night, 2 for 2. Single to center, single to left. Chance to add on to this Padres 2-0 advantage.
Certainly a guy you want up in this moment right now, the way he swung the bat. You see him hitting 382 with runners in scoring position this season.
Well, the Padres do have action in the pen now. Jose Castillo warming in the pen. And here's a guy that we have not seen on the road trip.
Had a terrific debut in San Diego. You're right, we haven't had a chance to see him on this road trip.
Right center field, that's going to get down. A gapper for Margot. From second base, Reyes coming around to score. Margot thinking 3. He is headed for third. Throw goes there, and he will be safe at third base. Eluded the tag. And the Padres take a 3-0 lead. Manuel Margot with his 3rd hit of the night drives in a run.
What a nice piece of hitting by Manny Margot. Fastball up and away. He stays on this baseball, doesn't try to pull it. And the trick slide completely dekes Jerko.
A stop and a start.
Jerko was waiting to put the tag on, and Manuel just never got there.
It's like a second slide.
The good old just kidding slide.
Well, Mike Matheny out there to make a change. That's the night for Weaver. Padres have added a run, have taken a 3-0 lead in St. Louis. Austin Gomber now into the game. 16th or 6th appearance, I should say, without a record of 4.50 earned run average. And he'll first face Rafi Lopez with the infield in all the way around for the Cardinals. With Margot at third base and only one out in the inning, they bring it in. Rafi has grounded out twice, first time into a double play. Now a broken bat, looper to left field. That's going to fall in for a hit. Margot will score, and the Padres take a 4-0 lead. Rafi Lopez drives in another run.
That is what hitters call happiness. Bat is in 400 pieces, yet it finds some outfield grass. You see the sinker just carves this bat up, but there's a way a bat can go out in style. That's the way it's going to go out. Hit in an RBI for Rafi Lopez.
4-0 Padres on top. Reyes and Margot both scoring here in the inning. Now Lauer batting for himself with a runner at first. They're expecting him to bunt a throw over to first base, and a check here on Lopez. Lead not terribly large.
And nobody's happier about that single than Eric Lauer. He was on his way to being pinch hit for, and yet he gets to stay in the game because Rafi comes through for him.
It looked like it was going to be Perella coming up. Punched at it. And a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Lauer tonight batting for the third time. It struck out twice. Went swinging in the second, swinging in the fifth inning. Rafi with that short lead again. In at third is Jerko. And he pulls back and will take a ball, 1-1. So the runs are charged to Weaver. The book now closed on Weaver. He goes 5 1/3, 9 hits. Gives up all 4 runs the Padres have. He walked 1 and struck out 4. And on the hook came into this game individually at 3 and 5. Gets a bunt down the first base line. It's a good one. Gomber, the pitcher, throws over his left shoulder for the out at first base. And the sacrifice complete as Rafi Lopez takes second base with now 2 down.
Padres continue to do a fantastic job of executing, whether it be runner on third, less than 2 outs, or just simply getting the bunt down to get a runner over. Just seeing the Padres play a better brand of baseball.
Yeah, it's winning baseball right now.
It is. It is. At the end of the day, you just want your team to be in position to win games. And by simply catching the ball and making pitches, the Padres are at least doing that much.
Now Travis Jankowski chops one up over the mound. Colton Wong runs in from second. His throw in time to retire Jankowski and to end the inning. But 2 more runs for the Padres. Manuel Margot driving in the third run with a triple out to right center field. And the Padres have taken a 4-0 advantage as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning in St. Louis. All right, Mike and Mark, thanks very much. Well, we got the bottom of the 6th inning with the Padres on top now 4-0. Mark Lauer back on the mound here to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. And strike in there evens a count of 1-1 to Tommy Pham. And 1 for 2. A single in the first, grounded out in the third, and one hopper to Hosmer. Lauer headed over to cover, but Hosmer can do it himself for out number 1.
Once again, Eric Lauer pitching the contact. That cutter gets in on Pham, tries to stay inside of it, but when you got a Gold Glove first baseman over there, the space seems a lot smaller.
One down here in the 6th, and it brings up Jose Martinez. 0 for 2. He's put the ball in the air twice, flying out to center, flying out to right. This one to shallow right. That's going to drop in for a base hit in front of Reyes. Breaks up a string of 5 in a row, retired by Lauer. A 1-out base hit here for Jose Martinez.
Again, that hard contact off of Eric Lauer, but just good hitting. Keeps his hands inside the baseball, giving himself a chance. For hitters, sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but there's a lot of outfield grass out there that has to be covered.
1 out, 1 on, and Marcell Ozuna coming up here. Those are 2 huge runs the Padres tacked on in the top half of this, the 6th inning. Cardinals trying to answer some way, somehow here in the bottom of the 6th.
You're certainly running out of outs to do it. Lauer's done a good job, as we mentioned, commanding the baseball today, more so than he has in past starts.
No walks. Hesitate to say it. Don't want to jinx it. But no walks so far here through 5 1/3 innings.
I mean, just look at his pitch count in 6 innings, and this is relatively low for Eric Lauer.
Yes.
Being in the 6th inning with only 80 pitches.
He's not gone beyond the 6th in an outing yet, as he checks on Martinez at first base. Lead was very short.
And Martinez has the right approach as far as getting back. Bader was out there dancing around a little bit, and he got caught slipping. Pretty good pitch there by Lauer. 4-0 lead, 2-0 count. You don't have to give in here.
Fly ball hit pretty well to center field. Margot going back at the wall. It's gone. 2-run shot for Marcell Ozuna. Cardinals cut the lead in half with that 2-run home run to center.
Marcell Ozuna starting to play like the player the Cardinals acquired from the Miami Marlins. 2-0 count. This ball's supposed to be away. It's right down the middle.
This was quite a spectator situation. He took a good long look.
I don't think he knew if he got it at all.
Ball was pretty much gone before he started running.
It was gone. It hit the ground before he actually started running. I think he was watching Manuel Margot go back and look like he had a play on it.
Now a soft liner back is Galvis to make the catch in short left. Molina retired on that soft liner. And there are 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
I think what you saw after the home run is going to come back to be something important. Hosmer went and had a conversation with Lauer, kind of reinforcing some of the things he's been doing and encouraging him. He's able to bounce back to get the next out.
Now Jed Jerko standing in, 1 for 2 in this ball game. It's brought this crowd to life here. We've been pretty quiet all night, had nothing to cheer about until now. Marcell Ozuna, 2-run home run. And it is a tight one again. The Padres have action for the first time tonight. It happened right after the home run. Pitch 86 for Lauer, and Jerko fouls it off to the right, 1-2.
Clearly, with teams paying so much more attention to pitchers facing a lineup the third time through, we're at that point now.
And it's Castillo again. You've been up a little bit earlier. Reaching out and sending one to deep short. Long throw for Galvis. Won't get there in time. Placed well. And Galvis astride on the outfield grass, tried to plant and throw, but Jed Jerko is going to beat it out for a 2-out base hit.
Galvis had to go deep into this hole. The fact that he got to it was impressive enough. The throw is just too far for him to actually be able to get Jed Jerko.
Well, Andy Green out to make a change here with 2 down in the 6th inning. It is a 2-run game now, and making his way in is Castillo. The pitching change from St. Louis. 4-2, Padres on top. Back here in the 6th inning, the 2-run shot by Marcell Ozuna off Eric Lauer, and Lauer departs here after 5 2/3 innings, handing it off now to Jose Castillo. Castillo into his 3rd game, 1-0, picked up that win in his last outing. He's not given up a run in 2 2/3 innings. Lefties have not gotten a hit off him yet. And ready here to work to a right-hander in Jairo Munoz with a runner at first and 2 down. Tying run at the plate. This one is a swing and a miss, but it gets away, and up to second base now goes Jerko. So into scoring position now with 2 down.
Slider. At least it looked like a slider. The runner on, you just would expect Rafi Lopez to have got in the blocking position to actually keep that in front. He tried to backhand it, and it ends up getting away.
So the wild pitch getting the runner to second base. This pitch down and in. Castillo got the win in his First major league win in his second outing. That was on June 6th. So it has been quite some time here as he pitches now on June the 13th.
He's had a little bit of time in between. Last time he's been able to get some game action.
Called on June 2nd from El Paso. Swing and a miss, and down to one knee goes Munoz.
I think it speaks volumes, the fact that Andy Green is willing to go to Castillo in this situation. Granted, he used 5 guys yesterday, might not have as many options as he would like, but trust this young man to come in and get an out.
2 outs here in the 6th inning. 1-2 pitch to Munoz. And that is strike 3. Got him looking. Nicely done by Castillo. Comes in, gets his man, and ends the inning. The Cardinals do get 2, though, as we have played 6 with the Padres on top of the Cardinals 4-2 and a big strikeout that ends the 6th inning. Clayton Richard talking it over with Eric Lauer, who's finished his outing tonight and has a lead as he departs. Well, the Padres after the ball game tonight headed to Atlanta to begin a 4-game series against the Braves. Ozzie Albies 37 extra base hits to lead the majors in the National League this year. As we play along, and the first pitch is going to be high, ball 1 to Corey Spangenberg. Just saw the Braves, and we'll see them again.
Couple of things. I love that shot of Clayton Richard talking with Eric Lauer. I mean, that's a learning moment for the young left-hander. Clayton, of course, the veteran, and I can only put myself in his spot, thinking that, wow, you know, Clayton Richard, he's taken the time. It shows you, I guess, the bottom line is what kind of teammate Clayton Richard is. You know, he's a veteran guy. He can just maybe go about his own business, but he cares about the youngsters, and he's talking about the outing, and Eric Lauer is all ears, wanting to learn.
Now, this is a process that's been going on a long time.
It's great.
Started the off season.
And then those 3 we just saw in Atlanta, you know, we just saw the Braves, but the pitching is going to have to continue to be stellar with the offense that they've got in Atlanta, especially those 3 that we just featured.
That is strike 3, and Spangenberg strikes out, looking to begin things here in the 7th inning. First strikeout for Gomberson's coming in.
Well, Eric Lauer tonight. Well, what were one of the things I liked? Well, the one is no walks. One is, you know, he gave up a home run. He gave up 4 against the St. Louis Cardinals last time out, but still, that's going to happen once in a while. That was the only extra base hit. He got ahead, got to 2 strikes. You know, he doesn't have that one wipeout pitch, and at times he got ahead and the count would be even, maybe even 3-2, but still he made a good pitch to limit the damage. And there you see the line.
7 pitches for Lauer. She goes 5 2/3. This is caught at third base. Jed Jerko. Liner going the other way. Hosmer is retired. 2 down here in the 7th.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of baseball with MLB.tv. Watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through Father's Day. How can you beat that? You can't beat that. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
2 down here in the 7th inning. The strikeout and the line out, and Christian Villanueva was introduced, but here comes Mike Matheny. Austin Gomber has been able to get 4 batters since coming in. It'll be Myers coming in. We'll see him for the 2nd time in the series. 4-2. Padres have the lead.
Time now to visit our Buzz the Booth SD mailbox on Twitter. And tonight, a birthday wish comes to us from @AmyCam13. She tweets, "This might be a big wish, but today's my dad's 60th birthday, and it would be amazing if you could give him a shout out during #BuzzTheBoothSD. Thanks for always making us laugh." And there's a photo of Gail, her dad, and Amy. And Amy just wants to let everybody know that her dad, Gail, was a wonderful and supportive coach growing up. Happy birthday, Dad.
That's awesome.
That's great. Thank you, Amy.
Villanueva facing the new pitcher, Mike Myers.
And a reminder, you can send us your questions to #BuzzTheBoothSD. #BuzzTheBoothSD.
16th appearance from Myers, 2-0 with a 2.84 earned run average. Strike 2. Villanueva walked and scored back in the 1st inning. Grounded out in the 3rd, popped out in the 5th. Galvis waiting on deck. Had a big 2-run double back in the 1st inning. Ties him up inside. 2-2. There's throwing at 96 miles an hour. We saw Jordan Hicks. He came in very impressively last night.
When's the last time you had a guy throw a 105-mile-an-hour sinker?
I'm not sure I've seen one. That is strike 3. Gone is Villanueva. It's 7th inning stretch. The Padres have a 4-2 lead. Fans of the game enjoying Padres baseball on the road in St. Louis and enjoying the score right now on top 4-2.
How about those seats right behind the dugout?
Jose Castillo back in the game for the Padres, and Colton Wong leading it off for the Cardinals. Wong 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second base, grounded out to short. That Caesar has come into the game in left field. Moving from left to right is Travis Jankowski. So Reyes coming out of the game. A little better defensively here are the Padres now in the outfield with some good speed with Caesar in left, Margot in center, and Jankowski in right, with a 2-run lead here with the Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 7th. That's a night for Franmil Reyes. It was 1 for 3. Reyes with a double in the 6th inning. A ball that looked like Tommy Pham was going to be able to catch. Swing and a miss for Wong. Gets away briefly from Lopez. Got to throw him out, and he does. So Castillo struck out Munoz to end the 6th. He opens the 7th by striking out Wong.
Good fastball from Castillo, but how about the breaking ball? And it's all about getting ahead and putting the hitter on the defensive. Look at this breaking ball here. It bounces on the side of home plate. Wong's got to protect. Nice job by Rafi Lopez. Smother and recover. Creates the lane. Throw down to first base for the big out.
This guy has been very impressive.
Yes.
And it's been a long time in between outings. 7 days.
Yeah, that's a long time. And that's the responsibility of a reliever to stay sharp. You know, you'll say to Darren Balsley, and he keeps track of days you're not used, so he's concerned about it too. Hey, be a good day for a good bullpen, you know, a good workout. To stay sharp.
This one fouled off to the right. Dexter Fowler pinch hitting here in the pitcher's spot. Where Luke Weaver had been 1 for 2 with a single in the 3rd inning. Fowler coming off the bench for the 2nd straight game. Harrison Bader's been starting in right field. They gone around. Let's check. No, says Ed Hickox. I thought he did. Don Breby up in the pen. Saw him in the first game of the series.
Ooh, where'd that pitch miss? There's that breaking ball.
That's a strike, but not called one. 2-2.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool for Jose Castillo someday when somebody says, oh, you pitched in the big leagues? Well, what happened in your debut? Well, struck out Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, and Adam Duvall.
That time he went for sure and strikes out. Back-to-back Ks. In fact, 3 for Castillo since coming into this game. 2 down in the 7th inning.
As you look at this pitch, you see the umpire. He points right on the swing, but that pitch was right on the inside corner. So essentially, he struck him out 4 times at bat. The missed call.
The check swing.
The check swing, and the called strike, and the point strike. That's 4 strikeouts, 1 batter.
Here is Harrison Bader. And he turns on this, sends it a long way to deep left field, but it is headed foul.
Strike 1.
A loud strike at that.
I can't remember the first time I heard that in the dugout. And I laughed my, you know what. I was sitting on the bench. Some guy scalds one, and one of my teammates just yells, "Strike 1." And I was like, you know, you're right. It's just a loud strike. The stuff you learn on the bench.
1-1 pitch. And a strike over the outside corner. 1-2. Top of the order, Harrison Bader. 44,094 on hand here tonight. 44,094. Largest crowd of the 3-game series. They've all been better than 40,000, but the biggest tonight. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out the side. Strikes out all 4 that he's faced since coming in this inning. Able to strike out Colton Wong to get it started. Dexter Fowler and Harrison Bader all down by way of the K. To the 8th, 4-2 Padres.
He's got my vote.
I think he's going to the Hall.
He's working on his speech as we speak.
John Brebbia is the new pitcher for the Cardinals. And Freddie Galvis fouls it back. That's as excited as I think I've ever heard Mark Sweeney about anything.
He's fired up. He's all in. And rightfully so. I'm right there with him.
18th appearance for Brebbia, second of the series. 4th member of the Cardinals to pitch in this game, and Galvis fouls it off, finds himself down 0-2. Galvis, Reyes, no, that's switched now. It's Galvis, Caesar, and Margot scheduled with the defensive change last inning. There is Caesar waiting on deck. That's second in the inning. In the air to shallow right field. Harrison Bader coming in. Long way in. And he makes the catch for out number 1.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
One down in the 8th, and here is Matt Caesar. Took over in left field and checks in, hitting at 203, a home run. 6 runs batted in. Line to center. Tommy Pham almost in his tracks out there. Makes the catch. 2 down in the 8th inning. Time now for the Bill Howe plays of the game. And how about the night for Manuel Margot, who singled in the 2nd inning. This is his first plate appearance. A single in the 4th inning. Well placed to the left side. How about an RBI triple in the 6th inning? A gapper in the alley in right center field. Franmil Reyes scores, and not one but 2 slides. Gets him into third base safely.
That slide worked out to his advantage. Remember, you mentioned it earlier, wet track, and with the humidity, it stays moist out there, right?
He almost came to a halt.
Very moist. And Jerko was caught off guard. And he was anticipating a hard slide and kind of put the glove down, but kind of went back a little bit. Margot stops, as we saw in the replay, and it worked to his advantage perfectly.
Thought about it. Did he go? No, he did not. They checked with Ed Hickox, first base umpire. Right now 7 in a row retired by Cardinals pitching. Gomber, Myers, and Brebbia the combination. Brebbia thought he might have had strike 3. Kirby Yates getting ready in the pen. Looks like he's going to have the last of the 8th inning in this one. 2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, and Margot strikes out this time to end the top of the 8th. To the bottom of the 8th, it's 4-2 Padres. Presents Padres Baseball, brought to you by Jerome's Furniture, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. How about Jose Castillo, who's faced 14 batters in the big leagues and has struck out 9 of them?
I like that ratio.
That's pretty good. Kirby Yates into the game here to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning.
Let's not get too excited about him, though, okay?
Hall of Fame is where I think he's headed.
Just hold your horses.
Cooperstown.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit there, Cha-Cha. 28th game for Kirby Yates. And 31 strikeouts in 26 innings, only 8 walks. That's been the theme for this Padres pitching staff lately. Quality strikes.
Well, Yates dealing with a tough part of the order. Tommy Pham will take strike 1. It's 2, 3, and 4 here for the Cardinals. Pham with a single back in the 1st inning. Since then, he has grounded out to 3rd, grounded out to 1st. Popped up foul off to the right, and that'll get into the seats. There are 44,094 here tonight at Busch Stadium III. Lauer went 5 2/3. Gave up the 2 runs that the Cardinals have. An inning in a third from Jose Castillo. Struck out all 4 batters he faced. There's an 0-2 to Tommy Pham. Hopped up foul again. Out of play off to the right. Last 6 games for the Padres pen, a 1.54 ERA.
Sorry about it.
That includes the bullpen game yesterday.
They've been nails.
Two to Pham. And he fouls it off himself and stays alive. Padres have won 10 of their last 14 games. Trying to win their 5th consecutive series. They have a 4-2 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Decided on a pitch coming in. Fastball. 1-2. And that is just going to miss in. Margot, the center fielder, well over into right center. They're playing for Pham to go the other way. It's headed the other way to right center field. Margot on the run, dives and makes the catch in right center. Manuel Margot makes the grab for out number 1 of the 8th inning.
I've said it once before and I'll say it again. I'm not ashamed. 2/3 of the earth are covered by water. The other third is covered by Manuel Margot. You go, Manny. Now that's some kind of nice.
Full layout out there in right center field, and Kirby Yates very appreciative of the effort of his center fielder. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Jose Martinez. And
yes, he did.
Yes, he did, says Ed Hickox. And our booth umpire, Mark Grant.
You know how Fox during the football season has the,
the
referee in the booth?
Yeah. Sure.
We have the umpire in the booth as well as a color
I'll call
analyst.
him as I see him. I've said that with the Padre guys too.
The 0-1 pitch coming up.
Let's check with Mark Grant. Was that indeed
He
a swing?
went.
0-2. Pitches so far for Yates, able to get Pham to line out. A little help from his friends. Manuel Margot out there in center field. A splitter and a swing and a miss over the top of it for strike 3. First strikeout for Kirby Yates. 2 down in the 8th inning. Time now for the Kia drive to success. Lowest team bullpen whip 1.17. National League leaders. Diamondbacks, Brewers, and then the Padres.
Whip, walks and hits combined per innings pitched. That's
I think it's your favorite statistic.
you know, I like it. That's one of those statistics that I like.
2 down here in the 8th inning. 6 in a row retired by Padres pitching. Marcell Ozuna brought the Cardinals closer with a 2-run home run in the 6th inning. It's a good series, 5 for 10. 2 hits tonight, had a single to right in the 4th inning. Home run was his 8th of the year. Ball to strike. One and two. Howard tonight going 5 2/3. Gave up the 2-run home run to Osuna. Jose Castillo, an inning and a third, struck out all 4 batters he faced. Now Kirby Yates, 2 down in the 8th inning, and head of the count, 1 and 2, and time call. Rafi Lopez had a moth in his mask. Not the first time that it's happened to someone tonight. Had a moth issue earlier. 1-2. On the ground left side. Rounding behind it is Galvis. His throw on the run is in time. And a 1-2-3 inning for Kirby Yates, but some help from his friends, or friend I should say. Manuel Margot in center field. Goes from left center to right center. Makes the grab in the air. Padres have a 4-2 lead thanks to that kind of defense. Grab some insurance here in the top of the 9th inning. Here's a look at tomorrow's Verizon projected starter. As the Padres travel to Atlanta, Tyson Ross will be on the mound. 5-3 with a 3.43 earned run average. He'll be matched up against Anibal Sanchez, who gets the start. We did not see Sanchez in the series at Petco Park when the Braves were in. 2-0, 2.37 earned run average, and he's off to a terrific start this year.
The Padres have won each of the last 6 starts, and 10-3 overall when Tyson Ross takes the hill. So you like the chances there. Pretty good numbers, though, from Sanchez.
Game 1 of 4.
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
So Rafi Lopez standing in to begin the inning, and Brebbia back out there for the Cardinals. He had a 1-2-3 8th inning, back out for the 9th. Brebbia is a guy that Mike Matheny will use for multiple inning appearances. You look up to the light towers here, these moths, it's a real thing. I mean, it's kind of like San Francisco when the seagulls come in after a lot of the fans leave. Same thing happens here in St. Louis, but the moths come in. Swing and a miss, and Lopez strikes out. See what I mean? They're everywhere. It's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, if you're a mouth breather, you got problems. Open mouth breather,
yes,
right?
And I think I am.
You better, yeah.
Jose Pirelli is going to pinch hit. what would be Kirby Yates' spot. Perella had come out on deck earlier in the game, but now he was not introduced, so still able to come in. And there for strike one to Perella.
Do you remember that game as Brad Hand heats up for the Padres? It was Yankees, Cleveland, in Cleveland.
Jabba Chamberlain.
Yes.
Yes.
What were those bugs?
What are they called? I forget. This one is going to be caught in foul ground by Molina. I didn't think he was going to have a chance, but he did. Stayed with us. Now in your home ballpark. He gets over there and makes the grab. Right by the screen for out number 2.
Midges.
Midges, that's what it was. They were everywhere.
It was unbelievable. You know, he makes it look so smooth, so easy. Yadier Molina gets rid of the mask and then lets his momentum taking him into the screen there.
So 2 down here in the ninth. Top of the order, Travis Jankowski coming up. It's been an 0 for 4 night for Jankowski. And he'll take strike one. Monday in the loss, the Padres were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They were 2 for 4 last night in the win and 3 for 6 in tonight's game. 5 for 10 in the last 2 games. And what could be 2 wins. So there you go. Timely hitting.
Yep.
Good pitching. And good defense. Very good defense.
Well, the no walks is the thing that is just making me really happy.
0. That is strike 3, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Brebbia. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth with the Padres on top 4-2. Pratt hand time. The ninth inning. What a catch by Manuel Margot in the last of the 8th. Well, we'll see how good this catch really was.
Well, what's important about this catch is you look at the metrics on this. 27.1 feet per second. He traveled almost 70 feet to make the catch. A couple of things. Off the bat of Pham, that ball is slicing, so it's going into the gap. He's got to really go and get it. Plus, the number 3 hitter, Martinez, is on deck. You've got 2, 3, 4 due up to keep him off the bases and end the possible threat.
Brad Hand into the game, 20 out of 22 in save opportunities. Yes, indeed, this is one. Yadier Molina to lead it off in the bottom of the 9th inning. Molina has fouled out, flied out, and lined out. 1 for 5 in his career against the Padres closer. Jerko and Munoz scheduled to bat in the inning. Which ought to be 5, 6, and 7 for the Cardinals. Strike 2. 1 and 2. Kind of froze Molina. Looked like he was looking for something else. There's Jerko waiting on deck. He's had a 2-hit night tonight. Both singles. Down and in. Almost hit him. It did get him. So down to first goes Molina. I've seen it happen a few times. That pitch has got so much movement, it ends up on the back foot a lot of times.
Man. Bad break. Tries to get out of the way and just hits the laces on his back foot. Top of the foot.
So the tying run at the plate with nobody out here in the 9th inning for the Cardinals. And it's Jed Jerko. Takes strike 1. Went to the fastball at 96 on that outside corner and got it.
That's 96 with a little bit of movement away. That's a nice pitch.
Fouled off and Hand jumps ahead here 0-2.
Slider's got good late break to it.
Hit batter breaks up a string of 7 batters in a row retired by Padres pitching.
Jerko this year, Don, has grounded into 6 double plays.
Ball and 2 strikes now to Jerko. Game that Eric Lauer started. He's a pitcher of record, went 5 2/3, giving up 2 runs. Jairo Munoz waiting on deck here for St. Louis as they bat in the 9th inning. That's away, and it's 2-2. Fastball running away.
What a big pitch coming up right here. Although, you know, Brad Hand, he'll throw that slider anytime. We've seen it 3-2. We've seen it even in the count.
Jerko takes a pitch that is up and away. Full count now. Hit by a pitch to begin things in the 9th inning. Now a full count to Jed Jerko. Tying run at the plate right now for St. Louis. Jerko hits one on the ground to first. Hosmer will touch first. Second base becomes a tag play, and he's tagged out. Double play. Nicely done by the Padres. Hosmer took care of the out at first base first. And then the throw to second base, and standing up going down there was Molina. I'm not sure if his foot was bothering him or what, but he stood up pretty much all the way down there, and they're able to throw him out by a lot. 2 down.
Huge play, great reaction. Eric Hosmer, you know, the play is right there. His momentum's taking it there. Molina does not run well. He actually throws right over the helmet of Molina. To Freddie Galvis, as you mentioned, the tag play, because the force is off right there. And even throwing off balance, a nice throw by Eric Hosmer.
You're right, that came very close to hitting him in the helmet. Now Munoz with 2 down takes a pitch in. Munoz has fly down to center, grounded back to the mound, and struck out looking. The 1-0 from Hand. On the ground towards third base, Villanueva's got it. His throw across is good, and the Padres win. San Diego able to take 2 out of 3 from St. Louis, and the Padres have won 5 straight series for the first time since 2010. Now, what a run it has been for San Diego. They come in here against a good Cardinals team and take 2 out of 3. And now it is on to Atlanta. It was fun tonight. Good pitching, good hitting, and very good defense. A smiling Manny Margot and a win tonight from St. Louis. It's time for Padres Live. Mike Pomeranz, what's in store?